Hi everyone, I'm Karina Shija with eXp Realty, and in today's video we're going to be talking about buying and selling a home at the same time. So you'll learn what a move-up buyer is, gain an understanding of what it's like to go through the process should you decide to buy and sell your home at the same time, and I'll give you some tips along the way. Well, this type of transaction is a little bit tricky because essentially you're handling two transactions at the same time, the home that you're selling and the home that you're buying. So that means that there's a great deal of preparation that needs to take place. There's a great deal of coordination along the way. And so it's important to have a basic understanding before you decide if buying and selling is the right situation for you. The question I want to start off with is why buy and sell at the same time? Well, the reason why you would want to do that is because it's going to save you money on temporary costs in between your two transactions. For example, housing costs are here in Hawaii, and we don't always want to bother our family or our friends to say, hey, can you put us up for a few weeks or months while we get out of our old home and get into a new one. Other reasons why you would want to do this transaction is because you don't want that gap in between selling your old home and getting into a new one. Because a lot of things could happen. Market could shift, the money could change, you could experience an emergency, and then you'll be without a house. So in order to prevent something like that, that's why you want to do it at the same time. And most times, most of the clients that I've worked with, in my experience, they're just super excited to get into their new home. I mean, that's the whole reason why they want to undertake this process in the first place, is because they're excited to get somewhere and they don't want to put it off any longer. Okay, so step number one, meet an agent. And one of the reasons why I highly recommend meeting an agent first before you start anything is because there's so much planning and preparation that needs to take place. We're trying to coordinate two transactions at the same time. So if you remember from the first time you bought your home, there was really only one transaction to focus in on. And that might have been a little bit overwhelming or seemingly complicated. So now we're trying to do two. And again, we're just trying to minimize the amount of complications that could come up during the process. Okay, so step number two, meet a lender. Okay, so what's different about meeting a lender this time? Why bother to get pre-approved? The reason you want to get pre-approved first is because your current home's value will get taken into account when you get pre-qualified, unless you're keeping the home, keeping the mortgage on that home. But in many people's cases, especially in Hawaii, where our median home price is so high, they're going to need to sell in order to qualify for a new home. So that's one of the reasons why getting pre-approved or at least pre-qualified with a lender in advance of searching for homes is almost necessary as a move-up home buyer. So what's going to happen is that your lender will need basically the same information as the last time: your 2 years tax returns, your pay stubs, all of that information. They're also going to need to get an estimate of your current home's fair market value. Step number three, list your home. Yes, that's right. I said list your home first before you go ahead and start looking for a new one. And here's why. You want to have a buyer first for your current home before you go out and look for a new one. So let me give you an example. Let's say you go out, you find a new home, you want to put in an offer, you haven't even listed your property yet, but you put in the offer, and from the seller's perspective for the home you want to purchase, you're a risk. Now here's why you're a risk. Because if you don't find a buyer, they don't have a buyer. So that's the reason why you want to find your buyer first for your home before you go out and make an offer on a new one. It strengthens you. It strengthens your position as a buyer to the homeowner that you want to purchase from. Okay, step number 4. Get ready because we're going to go out and go shopping for homes. That's right. You can go out and look for your home because you have been prepared. You spoke with an agent, you have a plan, you're prepared for what's coming next. You went and you got pre-qualified for a mortgage, or at least pre-qualified for a mortgage. Better if you got pre-approved. And lastly, you've listed your home and you found a buyer for it. That really sets you up for going out and now shopping for a home. Okay, so what's gonna happen here? You're gonna go out shopping for your new home, find one you like. Your agent will put in an offer on that home, and there'll be a contingency on it. Basically, it'll be contingent upon the sale of your first home, the home that you own. Okay, so you get all of that done. Now we get into contract, and what we're going to do at this point is basically start both transactions at the same time, making sure they run concurrently. We need to keep track of both transactions in terms of the timeline. I don't know if you remember about what that timeline is. Most times your agent just handled it for you, but it's basically all a timeline of all these contingencies that have to be met in order to keep the contracts moving forward. So basically, any delays, also, if you remember, any delays in the process will impact the other contract, and then we just need to prepare and adjust accordingly on both sides of the transaction. And if all goes well, 30 to 45 days later, you'll be walking out of your old home and walking into your new one. Well, that's all I've got for you folks today. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.